Hi, this is a video review for the Breeze 4K flying camera. And I just wanted to show you the packaging real quick before I open it because it's packaged incredibly nicely. And let's see. This box is heavy. I reviewed a lot of quadcopters and I've never reviewed one in a box this heavy before. So hopefully you can read this information so I don't have to read it to you. There's some more information on there. Guess what? That's some more information for you. And then there's some good stuff there. Got propellers for safety. There's more, guess what? Information. So this is all sealed in plastic. I'm going to go ahead and open it up, take it out, work on my lighting situation, I guess, and come back and show you what's inside. Okay, so I'm going to show you what is in this box, and I'm going to try and talk quickly because we've been reading the instructions and there is a lot that goes with this. So basically, here we go. Comes with this awesome case. In here is your drone, quadcopter type thing. It's the Breeze. We're just going to call it your Breeze. So here it is. The blades fold out. There's your camera. Comes with 2 batteries. I don't know if they're charged or not. That's why I want to film this because I'm going to charge them. You have blade guards. Here's your other battery. And then, like I said, it's in this nice case. Instructions were really easy to read. And then there's some impressive packaging on this. I'll tell you that much. My husband said it's like Apple packaging. So this, my husband's already been through some of this stuff, so that's why these are empty. There's some extra blades and some little screws. And then it says accessories. In here we have microcharger, charging cord, and a battery charger. So that's everything that's included, and I'm going to go ahead and package all this back up, charge the batteries, and come back and show you how to work this thing and what it does, because it's very impressive just from the instructions. I can't wait to see it in action. So we'll be back. Okay, so we've had the quadcopter a couple weeks now. This is my husband Brandon. Say hi, Brandon.
Hi.
You're basically going to see his hands because I got to get the quadcopter here. He's going to show you some basic things that he's learned and go from there.
I've used quite a few quadcopters. I would say that, first off, this is a quadcopter, but more importantly, this is more of a personal flying video camera. It is a quadcopter, but it doesn't do flips, it doesn't do tricks. This thing has a specific purpose, and that is for taking video of the things that you want. Now, the video quality, there's 4K, there's 1080, there's 2 versions of 1080. There's 30 frames per second, there's also 60 frames per second, and then it goes down from there. It comes in a nice case, which is kind of nice. My only beef with this is that there's no place for the actual charger that goes with the batteries. Now, in the case, you have a place for the extra battery, and then the battery that's in there, and then there's the safety guards, which clip on and clip off very, very easily. It does fold up kind of nicely. You can see the blades just kind of will fold out. It does come with extra blades, and then these pop up.
I can only see it from this side.
Okay. So these pop up and down, and they have little tiny rubber on it to keep it pretty stable. It's not going to slide around too much. The battery will last about 12-ish minutes. Yeah, I was surprised at how long it does stay up in the air. I was also surprised at the overall performance of this thing once you did get used to how it all works. So with that said, it is very, very important that you read, like, it comes with warnings on the inside of here, the do's and the don'ts, okay? Just using common sense. You don't want to fly it over crowds. There's a lot of other things in here, like
reflective stuff, right?
Yeah, like because it uses GPS, it is also using stuff underneath here to keep its, to sense where it is in space.
Well, you can't fly it over reflective surfaces.
Yes, you can't fly it over reflective surfaces and stuff. One of the other things I noticed in the manual is that there are temperature ranges for this. So if you're thinking this would be perfect for, like, if you're a snowboarder or anything like that, it even says right here, don't use it in rain, don't use it in fog, don't use it in really bad weather conditions, which is pretty common sense anyways. But it does have like a 32 degree.
Yeah, I think it was right at freezing
limit. So yeah, if you're a snowboarder and you're thinking of using this thing, probably not the best idea for that. It does have a couple different modes. It has pilot mode, it has journey mode, it has orbit mode, it also has selfie mode, and I think that's all of them. All of them I will kind of go over quickly. There's tutorials in the app, and how this thing hooks up is, it doesn't come with a remote control either, because it is completely controlled by your device, whether it be an iPhone or a Android or an iPad, which I tried. And the iPad was nicer because it was a bigger screen, so I was able to see more, because you actually do see the video. You actually do see the video when you are flying. It has a lot of safety features in it. It's got what they call geofencing in it, which means when you start it up and it'll say make sure you want to take off, you press a button, it will take off, and it will hover to a defined height, which you can set the settings in here to say, I think the default is like 2 point something feet, but you can change it to 3 feet or 5 feet, whatever you want.
Which is good for indoors.
Which is good for indoor use, yeah. So if you want to take off, you want it to only go 5 feet or whatever, you can also set a overall height, like you can set the limits to the geofence. So if you're indoors and your ceilings are 10 feet high, you could say don't go any higher than 10 feet. I was in a high wind situation with it, and I was also very impressed at how well it kept under control in windy situations, because I had these things go flying, and you will see that in the video review after this. Now, as far as the app goes, this thing is, like I was saying, there's no remote, because it's done through your phone, and it's done with a Wi-Fi connection, which I was very surprised at how far this thing can go away and still be connected Wi-Fi. Like I said, with the journey mode, you can set the distance on it. And what I mean by journey mode is you set it where you want it, and you press journey go, and it will fly up and out to a set distance that you want. And I think the distance was almost 290 some odd feet was the overall limit you could go, it's pretty far. And you'll see in the video how far it can go up. The other thing I do like is that it has control over the camera angle up to 90 degrees, which allows you to get complete overhead downward shots, which is also nice. I've had quadcopters where the camera's kind of stationary, and what you get is what you get. You can't control the actual angle of the lens, so that is also a nice feature. Another feature is that in the app you can actually download, as long as this is still on and you're connected to Wi-Fi, you can actually download whatever you capture on here, which is video or photos, and you can actually download them to your phone, and they'll end up in your photos section, but they're also still retained on here, and you can use a little USB and download them to your computer. The other thing is that you would be surprised with is that it doesn't actually record audio. It's just recording video, which I was surprised with, but it was kind of nice, because
it makes sense, because all you hear is blades.
Yeah. In the instructions, which, like I said, read the instructions. It's just smart to do. When you turn on the power buttons right here, you can see it'll do a bunch of different glows. It'll tell you what all the different kind of colors and blinks mean. And so right now that is getting going, and it's going to emit a Wi-Fi signal. And you can even change, once you get this set up initially, this is another important thing, is not why not to lose the instructions, is because there is a password to connect to it the very first time, which is written down in the instruction. Now I'm going to open up the app. Now the app was a little hard to find, that's the other thing in the instructions, there's not like a QR code. There it goes, it's saying it's connected now, and that's because I opened up the app.
Yeah, and the light turns solid.
Yeah. The app, you just got to go out and look for it. It was a little hard to find it. I looked under the company right here, Yuneec, Breeze, to find the app. So when you first start up,
I think that's Yuneec.
Yuneec. There you go. I was calling it. Okay. So right off the bat, it's giving you instructions. Just don't breeze through these things. Read them. So we're going to click next, and this is the kind of the screen. So it's showing you right here. Hi, look, there's the live view right from the camera. I don't know if you can see that.
I would be able to if our light wasn't on. I can kind of see it. There we go.
So look, so that's the live view from the camera. Very good quality right from here. And so in here, if you click up here, you have a bunch of. Can you see that? Let me get an angle where you can see it. Can you see that good?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay. So like, these are your drone settings, and you can go through them, and you can set up, you can calibrate it, you can change the distance this thing will go before it'll stop, and the height. Lots of different settings in here. You just have to go through them all. But let's go back. I mean, there's other things. There's camera settings, so you can go in here, and this is where you can change from 4K to HD, and then you can also change
medium and ultra high photo settings.
Yes, so there's a lot of camera, and then this is where you can reformat the memory that's in the right in the Breeze, but you don't want to do that.
Sorry, dog toy.
You don't want to do that until after you've downloaded your video, because if you reformat, it's going to erase. Gallery is kind of neat. You can see I've been messing around with it a lot. I even did some video of a sculpture we're doing right in the backyard there, so it's kind of neat to fly up there. Can you see that?
I can now.
So yeah, I mean, there are so many features, there's so many things you can do with this. But so let me go in. So to get into where you control this thing, you can go right into here, and you can see right now, because we're kind of indoors, there's this GPS thing. So if you turn that off, it's because we're indoors that we're not getting the GPS. If you were getting a GPS signal, these would be available. You have the selfie mode, the orbit, the journey, and then the follow me. That was the other one I was missing from my thing. So the pilot, if we go into there, this is what you'll see. It'll say, okay, you're ready to pilot this thing. Are you sure? And then we're not going to do it in here because I don't want to, hurt myself or anything like that. But if you press that button, take off, this thing's going to start taking off. These are your controls. You can just you can press up on them, or you can press directly on them, or you can actually slowly go over to them. You can adjust things like your camera angle right there. If you can see how it's doing it, that's live view. You can, if you press right, once you're flying, this will change from take off to camera. If you click on that, you can say to record, and if you can switch between photo and video right there as well. Right up here, it shows you the battery power life you have left, and can you see it?
Yep, I can now.
When you get low on battery, it will pop down and say, hey, and it will sound like a very loud busy signal, like on a telephone saying, hey, come back, bring it back home as soon as possible. Now, if I were to take off, you would also see two buttons down here on the bottom, one that just says land, and there's another one that says home. So if this thing's super far away, you can tell it, and then you can also tell it in the settings how high to come back before it lands at home. So say you're like 200 feet out, up, and you just click the home button, this thing is going to fly back overhead to where it first took off based on the GPS signal, and it's going to take the settings you have in here for the height, and it's going to, so let's say you say, come back to home at 20 feet. It's going to fly to 20 feet above you and then land. So keep that in mind, because that's like when I was out testing this thing in the backyard, I hadn't realized that those were set, and it was only at like 5 feet, and I said, okay, I'll try the home button. It wanted to fly up to 20 feet and then over to me and down, which you don't want to happen if you're like under trees or something like that. So we're gonna go back out. So selfie, same thing. This thing will just, all it'll pretty much do in selfie is it'll fly up and you'll tell it where to put it, and it'll just sit there and hover there for you. The orbit is kind of neat. Once you get it where you want it, to be, you know, the camera pointing at you, you get it adjusted to where you want. You click left, right, and it will just start orbiting around you. Journey is kind of a cool one. I haven't tested it right up in my, like right close to me. I tested it about 10 feet away from me. It does say in the instructions to not to fly this, you know, to get it at least 13 feet away from you and other objects before you fly it. So it's probably not a good idea to have it right in your face and then have it journey, because you don't want it to come back and like hit you or anything like that. But the journey is a pretty cool one. It'll just take off filming you, and it will go up and out at a set distance and
then come back
and height, and then it'll just come flying right back in and stop where it started, which is pretty cool. When you go in to edit stuff, it's kind of neat. Same, like I said, same with the orbit. It'll just fly around you until you press stop. And then you have the follow me. Now the follow me, at first I couldn't figure out how it worked because I didn't pay attention to the instructions again right off the bat. But once you start that one, you get it up where you want, and you can actually pinch a square around something, and this thing will literally just kind of turn and follow you. I didn't get a chance to, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to see if it would follow me down the street. I didn't get a chance to do that yet. I would like to, but as far as testing it back and forth, wherever it's hovering, no matter where I went, it would follow me back and forth. But as far as distance goes and stuff, it did kind of try to stay with me a little. Overall, like I said, this thing is pretty cool. It is not a quadcopter toy. It's not probably a toy you'd want to buy for a little kid just to play with. This is kind of something for, you know, taking on vacation and taking some nice shots you normally wouldn't get of something. I'm going to probably find all kinds of awesome uses for this thing. This is more of a video tool than it is just a play hobby thing, flying it around.
I could see this being good for like realtors, photographers,
it could be
things
for
like that.
Especially realtors.
Especially.
Who want to fly up and take photos of a property. If you're, you know, heck, maybe even if you're, you know, a paintball enthusiast and you want to get an edge on where your enemies are, you can fly this thing up and see where
we're planning on taking it to a cornfield maze so that we can find our way out.
There you go. Like I said, it's really cool. I wish there was more battery life in it, but I'm glad it does come with 2 batteries. Nothing else. Just one other thing is these blades are. You don't want to be grabbing this thing. I got cut pretty.
Do you still have your cut?
You can, I'll show you I took a picture of it, but yeah, I went to grab it and it
started to fall.
It bit me good. So again, it's not something you probably want to get for your kid just to play around with. As you'll see from some of the shots we got this weekend, and it was pretty cool to do that.
Yeah, you were at a place that I grew up my whole life at, and I got to see things that I've never seen before just by flying it up in the air. I had no idea.
I mean, you were able to go up and actually see the surroundings. I didn't know that the trees around there were that far stretching, you know what I mean? And it was cool to see all the leaves changing from that high of an altitude. Like I said, when you get a handle on it, with all of the settings in here, the GPS and all the other thing, it does make it super easy to fly. A lot easier than some of the other quadcopters. And that, I think, has contributed to the stability of it. Like some of these things, when you get up there, they swirl around and stuff. And then one of the other things I want to mention is that there's a button to click reverse. So when you're flying this thing up and you're piloting it, and and your controls, say when you push forward, you can switch those. So like if you push forward, it's coming to you. It's more intuitive and stuff. You get what I mean by that?
Yep.
So that's very, very helpful too, because this thing is going to be pointing at you more than it is pointing away from you. But you want to have the ability to intuitively say left when it's going left or right when it's going right, depending on where the camera is.
Basically, you can change the heading on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, I don't know. Again, like I said, I do like that it comes with a carry case. I just wish there was a spot for the battery charger to come with it, because that's important. The app is super cool. I don't really think there's anything else.
No, I don't think you could possibly mention any more. If you do have more questions, feel free to leave a comment, and we'll try our best to help you out. We'll keep using it, testing it, seeing what else we can find out with it. But for now, I hope this was helpful.
Thank you.